Greetings, Summoners. Cosmic here, and welcome back to another Battle Spirit Saga video. And today we have the January Early Adopter Kit from Loot Card Shop in Michigan, which is my home store that I'm going to be playing at and obviously helping out at. And I just want to do a very short video to talk about what came in the kit for January, first impressions, and just the overall card quality since we have real cards now, as well as some of the foiling. So this is just going to be a nice overview. Quicker, shorter video than normal, but really just here's what you can look forward to. And most importantly, at the time recording this the Monday before, but sometime this week, the early adopter site signups should be live on the main site. So there should be like the event information. And then we also know that Bandai is doing their road tour, which starts next week. So again, at the time of the recording this, the website's not updated yet for like the store list and the signups and all that stuff, but there should be information very, very soon about what to expect and hopefully they'll have other than just like the demo decks. Like, is it going to be times? Do we have to reach out to the stores individually? Is it just going to be like, hey, here's the phone number, right? All that kind of stuff we're kind of waiting to hear more on, but please, please, please look forward to it. There's a lot of good stuff coming in the very near future. So with that, there is, of course, the poster that we got, and I'm going to put up a short video here of what I just took off my phone. And I have to say, first impressions, and if you saw on Twitter, the store owner loved it, and it's actually quite attention-grabbing, which is kind of all you want, right? Admittedly, I like the layout. I think the foiling is great. I'm glad they put like, hey, there's a lore video, demo kits, and all that stuff. I kind of wish they would have done different artwork for a Sigworm. Like, I get why, right? Because it's a lore video. I understand the importance of that. But that is like the one thing I'll like pick a bone with, other than like they're using the old marketing deck boxes and booster box. But that's kind of like whatever. People don't care about that level of detail unless you're like really in the know of all things Battle Spirit Saga. But I feel like they could have used like using the proper card art. I think just would have been a better win here than what was in the lore video. Because right, the only people that care the fact that it's the lore video version of it if you've already watched the lore video. Otherwise, this does kind of look like a little bit out of place. But the foiling, the detailing, and all that stuff, I think is really, they've done a really good job with it. We'll get to the promo cards themselves. As you notice here in the middle, there's the promo pack volume 1. There are 2 types. I did open Ares, which you're going to see here in a little bit. And then that is, of course, White Hole Dragon on the front. So we just assume that's the other type. I only opened 1 pack because I didn't want to, spoil the event and stuff because we're going to be giving them away. I think the 22nd is when we're going to host an event for it. So very soon, if not, early this week when other people get their kits, someone's going to open more packs, either selling them or just open them, and we'll be able to showcase what the others. But it has a very special foiling I think you're going to be excited for. And then the last thing is just a close-up of like, hey, here's the demo kits, here's what you can expect to get. We've kind of already seen this, but what was really most important about it is kind of what it gave us access to, and I was the only person well, I shouldn't say the only, but I was the person who finally was able to put this photo together, is finally a size comparison between the Japanese Battle Spirits Core and Soul Core, and then the Battle Spirits Saga Core and Soul Core, and then a mini D6 and a regular size D6. So Saturday, or yesterday, I guess technically at the time of recording this, I did a bunch of demos for Saga, and I was also just like practicing the starter decks and try to figure out like, card ratios, a bunch of stuff, just having fun, enjoying the game, right? And I have to say, I do appreciate the smoothness of the Japanese cores because obviously there's less sides to them, so they slide around easier. They're easier to glide around that way. But just in terms of like being able to easily move my cores around anyway, otherwise, like if I'm picking them up and putting them somewhere, the new cores are wonderful. I realize people are kind of torn on the Soul Core because it is so different, and it's the forbidden like red hot candy that it's all glittery and whatnot inside. But I do like it because you have to remember the Soul Core itself really is something special in this game. And yes, the nice silver finish on the Japanese cores were okay, but I've heard from some players that those do like wear off over time, and that's kind of not a great experience to have. So I'm glad they did something different where you don't have to worry about that finish, and the glitter's a nice touch. Like, I hope they do some other stuff with it, because again, you could pretty much use whatever for the Soul Core as long as it's one distinctly different core. But overall, my first impressions were just, I loved it. I really thought they did a good job of like putting this together, and it took a little, like, as I, talked about the first time when I played the game and picked up and did Japanese Battle Spirits and try to figure it out, the one thing I will say is the cores do take a little bit to get used to, but then when you do, it's, again, I really do think the size increase is something a lot of people will love if you've only like slightly dabbled in Battle Spirits previously. But if you're like a JP format vet and you're very, very used to the old cores, honestly, you might just still use the old cores because they are easier for like sliding around purposes. Even if they are harder to actually physically pick up, they do move across the playmat a little bit easier in my experience. And then the Soul Core, I'm sorry, the new Soul Core is better. Fight me. I just really love like the glittery focus of it, and it just, because it's that solid red and slightly bigger, like almost the size of a mini D6, it really does help stand out, and it's really quick to tell like where it is, have they used it yet, that kind of stuff. So really do love the updated Soul Core here. And then the last part is just the window cling. So this was actually updated, which was a really kind of nice surprise, and I put the promo packs there as a size reference because I didn't have anything else. But this was really nice because it was supposed to be just like Nova, and it was supposed to be like a little cutout, right? So Bandai clearly changed some stuff with this, and this is going to look absolutely beautiful in the front shop window, so that you can see it from the road. So like, obviously if someone's like driving by, they're going to notice it and hopefully stop it. Now, obviously that's a little bit of a stretch right now since none of the like bigger news is out for Battle Spirit Saga, of course, but there's going to be a really exciting March announcement here pretty soon. And I think that's going to get a lot of people, get the game on a lot of people's radar. Now we're already seeing, don't get me wrong, people asking for cases, people saying, hey, how can I get a demo deck? So the excitement is definitely starting, and it's very clear within the Facebook group and Discord groups and what have you, say, hey, people are finally talking about the game now that they can get a demo, kit and start to actually play it. But I think that March announcement, once people realize how and where they can buy product, both these starter decks and the booster boxes, that's when we're really going to see a rush to say, hey, how do I get this product? I want to either play for these cash events, or just getting product like a month early, right, is fun and exciting. And again, we're going to talk about all the card stock quality and foiling and all that stuff here, but really, really good news ahead. So again, this was just supposed to be like a quick short video update for here's everything that we got in the January kits. First impressions, very positive. The store owners loved it. And from this point, I'm going to warn you, it is going to be a rant on card stock and foiling. I did a video on this a little while ago talking about both One Piece and Digimon, some other stuff for it, and the foiling type, which we are not going to cover today for the Japanese Battle Spirits, but just talk about Western Bandai's games, because there's very clearly a difference between Dragon Ball, One Piece, Digimon, and soon to be Saga versus all the other games that they do in Japan from a foiling and admittedly quality standpoint for how much effort they put into their card games. And that could be a cost thing, it could be a timing thing because they're just taking on additional games. They already have like 12 games in Japan, why not add a couple more? And obviously it's different teams and whatnot, but they're all printed out of one area from what we can tell, which is amazing, because if we go back to like Final Fantasy or Force of Will or some of these other Japanese trading card games, they're not all in one printing facility. So huge kudos to Bandai for that, because they're doing it all in-house, which in theory should help with future quality control, be it foiling, be it miscuts, be it misprints, things of that nature. Now, again, Saga is only in English, so that shouldn't be an issue ever, other than like the additional, like, oh, they forgot the period or something like we see in Dragon Ball Super, or they forgot like up to instead of just one. So very, very minor, not really important typos in that regard. But I'm really curious to see how this all shakes out, because again, with it all being that one house, like it's really close to what we should hopefully get for Battle Spirits Saga, for how nice of foiling that they have in Battle Spirits. And that's where I will say I kind of have some hesitations about the foiling that we got. I'm really hoping it's one type and not the other, but I will be talking about first the card stock for each one of their card games, or well, minus Dragon Ball Super because I don't have Super, but going from their thinnest and kind of like very Magic-esque card stock, which is Digimon, all the way up to One Piece, which is like a credit card. And as someone who bridge shuffles their decks, if you double sleeve One Piece cards, you're in for a bad time. So I am happy to say that the Saga demo deck cards are in the nice middle ground. I'm really, really happy with the card stock at a high level, but without getting any more into it, let's get into a video. Let's talk about the actual quality of each one of these and kind of dig into more details. So let's see it up close and see how these foils stack up against one another. All right, so up first, we are going to have our Digimon foils. Something to keep in mind here is like these are these very flat foils. This is going to be a rare. It is going to be edge to edge. And cardstock, I mean, and this might pain for some people, I'm sorry. It's very, very thin. I'm like, this is good bridge shuffling cardstock. So yes, while it is thin, I think this is like, for me, a little thicker than this is what I would prefer in cardstock. And obviously everyone's going to be a little bit different, but quick note on the foiling, it is a flat foiling, much like we're going to see with the One Piece card. It is edge to edge, but it is otherwise flat we go into the super rares, which are going to be the X rares for Saga. We get a little bit of foiling, a little bit of texture, a little bit of peek through in the art itself. But otherwise, you know, the one thing I'll say here that I'm going to point out on the Saga card as well is I don't like how it's flat on the character unless you do some like really cool pop through art. And I think there's like a couple, it might not come up in the camera. There's like, yeah, the couple spots over here where it's like, oh, there's foiling there. There's like a little bit of foiling here. But it's otherwise really, really flat for a super rare card. So this is one of my complaints from Digimon, if you go back to my last video or just in general, is their foiling leaves a lot to be desired. Cardstock good, foiling pretty terrible, even including their secret rares. So now we're going to talk about One Piece. Same style of deal. You can see just how shiny. Like this is even the crazy part for me for One Piece is that if you compare it, it still has like that flat foiling, but the blue and like all the color coding on the bottom of all One Piece cards is like far more reflective and stand out than what you have for Digimon. So a little bit of difference there. And again, it is edge to edge. This is an event card, so it's naturally has a yellow border. You're going to see it with the Zoro. Again, this is a rare, so we do have that like side to side foiling. But again, the card stock, I mean, it is thick. It is like kind of rough to shuffle. And the other thing is, I think it was just due to the card stock coming out of the packs, but the cards were literally warped coming out of the pack, and like not as bad as Magic per se, but I think it's just the style of the cards themselves, like really, hopefully it's just like a wave one issue, but I think there's a lot of people who are not exactly happy with how the quality control and the foiling techniques that came out for the card. So again, here you can see more of the foiling on the outside. Now again, this is a super rare. This is a starter deck super rare, but that shouldn't matter. We will see X rares for us, of course, which will have texture, and we'll have to do like another follow-up video, but again, edge to edge, these cards are very thick. Like these are the thickest Bandai cards for sure, like absolutely by a mile. And for me, as I've been playing for the last, what is it, month now? Or I guess 5 weeks, it is very difficult to shuffle. I love the shuffle feel of Digimon by comparison, but I really wish that their foilings were a little bit better. And again, here too, it is the rainbow side to side. There's a little bit of texture foiling if you go into like the alt arts and stuff like that, but ultimately not a fan. So by far, One Piece is my least favorite for the Bandai games. The cardstock is far too thick. The foiling is flat and bland, and it doesn't do anything different from Digimon. Like Digimon already did this. You could have done something a little bit better. Really quickly, just a standard demo card. It is really nice to see these kind of up close and, you know, in print now. Obviously, this is just a common, nothing too special. Just trying to get it like the standard on camera here. And again, the card stock itself, it's a little thicker than Digimon, or it might be like really, really close. It's kind of hard to, until you like, you know, this is the demo deck, but it is definitely like, you know, in my hand, it's a little bit thicker. And obviously, this isn't the best thing to come across in video. They're not the easiest thing to come across in video, but it definitely feels like it's a little sturdier. Not too much that it's like one piece, but I think cardstock wise, this is perfect for me. And then also the back of the arts or the card art, because I don't think we've seen this yet. So I really do love this. I need to buy a new light, to be perfectly honest. So I do apologize for that, but love the card back. Now let's talk about foiling. And I got some feelings, I gotta tell you. So this is the Seagworm that we know that's in the demo deck. This is what was previewed on the other screen. And what I do not love, absolutely do not love, is this flat foiling, because if you angle the card, it's nice how the numbers stick out. Like this is very easy to see. But this is across the table. It's near impossible to remember like what the text is. Like the foiling in this case is a hindrance. And I hope like you're going to see in the last card here, like the non-text box foiling is like 10 times better. So I'm really hoping this is not what it looks like for the, you know, commons, uncommons, and rare foilings that we're going to have. However, the thing that I do absolutely love that I was trying to point out on the Afanimon, but it didn't do that good of a job, and hopefully this comes through in the camera. It's really hard to see in the viewfinder from my end, so I'm hoping this like shines through. If you look at it, yes, there's no foiling on Seagworm, but there's like these little cutouts that do a nice job of like accenting the artwork itself. Like you get to see all the thunder clouds behind them. There's like lines on this side that I don't think I can get on a, don't think I'm going to be able to get the light to shine just right to show it off. But like the cutouts on this part is really good. So like if I could literally cut this card in half and just keep the top half and please get rid of this, I think that would look very okay. This is quite different than Japanese Battle Spirits, where it's like the entire card has like that more flat foil like we'd expect. If you have like Flesh and Blood Cold Foils-esque. And then this is the early adopter promo pack. So again, that's from this pack that I had mentioned. Grab the sleeve, what's left of it, right? So these are the promo packs that early adopters will be able to get. It says 2 types. Obviously, the other type is going to be White Hole Dragon. Like, it has to be. I'm sure we'll get it confirmed soon. And then otherwise, so what's different is the artwork is a little bit zoomed in. We have this like special, it's not a stamp, and I keep calling it a stamp accidentally. Like, it's very flat. It's not, you know, indented in the card or anything, but we have this like frame on it, which is really nice. And it is foiling, so that's nice to come through. But what I really like is if you look at the card, and I'm going to do my best. I put out a much better video on Twitter because I was able to shine the light directly on it. But if you look, the gem and the border is foiled, but not the text box. So again, at an angle, it's very readable. It's very readable at all angles, to be perfectly honest. And I like the silver because it catches the light the right way. But and even like the spirit, like this yellow line going across, has a foiling pattern on it. I think that's coming through, hopefully. And then again, with the white frame, and then of course with the, let me try to do it this way, with the cost, that's foiling as well. So this is, in my opinion, if they can keep something like this, obviously we don't get to keep the frame. But to me, this is more of like the perfect foiling style. Or if they do like a flat foil where it's doesn't obstruct the text box, I think that's okay too. But I'm really, really impressed with the foiling of this card. This is what I would personally like to see in Battle Spirits Saga. I know everyone's going to be a little bit different, but this plus the textured, I think, would be a really great combination. And again, I know this is early adopter, so it might not at all be for all cards. Like, this might just be a one-off special printing that they did for it, which would also be cool. Oh, and I also forgot, like, the gems in the chest. I probably can't get this on camera because I don't have the other light on. Like, there is foiling accents within the card as well. So going back to the Aphonimon comment and going back to Seaworm, right, where it's like it really looks nice when you have certain parts of the artwork coming through on the foiling, which again might not come through here. I'll have to see how this looks in post, but I did share a couple videos out on Twitter which go a little bit better through this. So that is my quick and dirty rant for the foiling. And again, I'm really happy with the early impressions of it so far, but we'll see where it lands. And with that, that's all for our video this week. Again, shorter. Try to make it shorter than what the other ones would normally run, but as of right now, like in the morning, we get to wake up to the last X-Rare, which is super exciting, and it's new spoilers. Like, from this point on, it is all new spoilers until February 1st. So get brewing, get crafting, get excited, because you can, like, we have all the tools for red. So, you know, one card might change if we get like, ooh, we want to splash a white, purple, or yellow card, but red's done. By the time you're watching this, we'll have all the red cards. So if you're excited for red, you know, go check out, it's in the Discord. There's, you know, other websites that are out there. You can see a full list, but get brewing, get having fun with it. Print off some proxies, get some friends into the game. Like, I'm personally really excited for Star Dragons. I'm hoping by, like, my prediction for the early morning reveal is going to be, it's going to be Thunder God, who is the Emperor Beast that we saw originally on the red starter deck, but it's going to be like just a generic, maybe it has Confront, maybe it's like a 6 cost, like, you know, good, just mid-rangey style of card that you would play that then both red decks could use. Or if you want to build a red deck that's not Star Dragons or Rex, and you want to say, hey, I really like the Confront Nexus, that's probably fine too. And like, it gives even another deck building option if you don't want to focus on these like very heavy family focused strategies, but instead just want to play like, you know, red good stuff the deck. So we'll see. But with that, my friends, thank you so much for sticking around for another Battle Spirits Saga video. Again, tons of great stuff coming up. I am going to be doing another starter deck battle this week sometimes, and I'll announce with who that's going to be here in the following days. We're going to do a white versus purple starter deck, at least for now. Through the rest of the month, I'm going to try to do at least one starter deck battle for each color. So like red will be, or we already featured yellow, white will be featured next. I want to do 2 more if I can get some other content creators in on it. And then after that, once February hits and we get the full list, I do have some people who are very excited to get testing and get excited to start playing. So there will be live content coming as well. We'll probably stream some of those events, like on the weekends, if we'll just like throw up the camera and like invite people to our testing sessions to like talk about our trial lists and all that stuff. Or otherwise, we'll just cut some videos for YouTube and all that good stuff. So with that, my friends, have a great week. Happy Monday if you're watching this when it went live. Stay hydrated, and I hope to see you in the next Battle Spirits Saga video. Take care. Cheers.